and Android.
Now at 5, the latest on the search for a killer after a husband and wife are found dead in a popular hiking spot. Plus, plans to enforce pool safety regulations in Nevada, why some people are upset. And
President Trump holds wide-ranging talks with the British Prime Minister before the subject turns to golf. I'm Torian Small in Washington with the latest on the president's visit to Scotland.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Police in Arkansas are searching for a suspect in the deaths of a couple who investigators said were attacked while on a wooded walking trail with their 2 young daughters. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. All trails at Devil's Den State Park in Washington County, Arkansas remain closed as that investigation continues. A husband and wife, 43-year-old Clinton Brink and 41-year-old Kristen Brink, were hiking with their daughters ages 7 and 9 when the attack happened on Saturday. Authorities say the couple died protecting their children. The victims' bodies have been sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab to determine the official cause and manner of death. State police say the suspect is believed to be a white man of medium build, wearing dark pants, a long-sleeve shirt with sleeves rolled up, a baseball cap, sunglasses, and fingerless gloves. He was believed to be driving a black 4-door sedan. Witnesses say the description came from people inside the park, not from video or surveillance. A convicted killer faces new charges after deputies say he attacked a neighbor in Carl Junction. Jasper County Sheriff's deputies arrested 46-year-old Dustin Fanning last night after witnesses say he chased his girlfriend with a hatchet and threatened to harm everyone in a home on State Highway 96. They say when the homeowner tried to take the hatchet away, Fanning punched the man in the head and then started breaking windows. Officers found Fanning hiding in nearby woods and arrested him for assault and burglary. Fanning previously served time for killing his 78-year-old father in 2008. We have more details on this case on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. 3 people are critically hurt after a fiery crash on US 60 near Marionville, Missouri yesterday evening. Happened just before 6 p.m. when 2 vehicles collided and caught fire. Bystanders pulled the victims out before firefighters arrived. Crews from Marionville, Aurora Rural, and Billings responded. 2 helicopters airlifted the victims and the highway was shut down for 2 hours. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Yeah, and another blitzing hot day for us today. Temperatures into the mid to upper 90s, and this is going to stick around for a little bit longer. Heat, humidity, we're going to see it again on Tuesday. We're going to see it again on Wednesday. Heat index 100 to about 105. That's why we do have a heat advisory in effect. Warm temperatures, so not hot, but warm temperatures return later this week. Also some pretty good chances to get some showers and thunderstorms in here. Not much going on for us today. A couple little spotty guys over towards Springfield and Branson. Let me take you through the evening into the overnight hours. By Tuesday morning, mid to upper 70s. We heat up again. Tomorrow could be our hottest day of the year, so we're going to talk more about that all coming up here in a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. The city of Nevada, Missouri says it's going to soon begin enforcing a code for those with pools and hot tubs. If your pool, hot tub, or spa holds more than 2 feet of water, it must be fully encased with a fence at least 4 feet tall and include a self-closing, self-latching gate. City staff say it's a national code that many cities across the country enforce, but recent complaints from community members is encouraging Nevada to begin enforcing it. Staff cite community safety, especially for children, as the reason for the rule.
It's quite common to see this in cities for the protection of young people. So it's something that governments can do. We do it for cars speeding too fast. It's meant to protect citizens.
City staff say they're giving residents time to comply with this code, with enforcement beginning in May of next year. Residents will need to get a fence permit from the city by October. A new study indicates Miami, Oklahoma needs more housing. The Miami Area Economic Development Service commissioned a study last year assessing housing needs. Now the results of that study are made public. The study indicates the Miami area needs between 500 and 600 new homes. Most of those homes need to be in the $100,000 to $200,000 range.
We actually had him look at each economic development to try to determine how many units we need at each level. And so that's some of the data that we got back in the housing study. And so we looked at low-income housing, we looked at low to upper middle class housing, and then higher end or maybe like junior executive level housing.
Miami Economic Development is looking at areas for housing developments outside the city limits. President Trump will be wrapping up his trip to Scotland by promoting the opening of one of his new golf courses, this one named after his Scottish-born mother. The president made news today discussing global issues, including the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and Europe. Tareen Small has details.
President Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer traveled together to Aberdeen, where the president is opening a new golf course.
It's fantastic to be here. Thank you for your hospitality and to see this amazing golf course.
President Trump's reception hasn't been entirely warm, with some protesters demonstrating in cities across Scotland and outside his resorts.
Donald Trump shouldn't be here in Scotland. He's a convicted felon. We don't even know what's happening in terms of the Epstein thing that's going on.
Questions about the president's ties to Jeffrey Epstein followed him overseas. He said Monday if there was anything incriminating against him in the Epstein files, the Biden administration would have made them public.
If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax.
The president is also using this 4-day trip to Scotland to discuss global issues impacting America and its allies, including the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. Trump and Prime Minister Starmer addressed feeding starving people in Gaza.
Both of us know that we have to get to that ceasefire and we have to increase humanitarian aid in.
And on Ukraine, the president says he's speeding up a timeline from 50 days to about 12 for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or face consequences.
If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs.
Over the weekend, the president met with the head of the European Union, where they announced a trade deal which sets the tariff rate for EU countries at 15%. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington, D.C.
The president also says trade talks continue with China, including negotiations happening today, but he says China is a tough trade deal. Still ahead, a different sort of blood donation.
Donating blood saves lives. It's true for humans, and it's also true for pets. I'm Michael George with the need for cat and dog blood donors.
Plus, how grief can impact our physical health. Those stories next in Health Watch.
11% tails.
Topping today's Health Watch, the COVID vaccine prevented an estimated 2.5 million deaths worldwide. Scientists in Italy and at Stanford University looked at data worldwide from 2020 to 2024 and found a significant benefit for vaccination. They also found that the majority of the lives saved by COVID-19 vaccination were people ages 60 and older. It takes an average to diagnose dementia after the first symptoms are noticed. A study by University College London found more needs to be done to raise public awareness so people recognize the early symptoms of dementia and see a doctor. Timely diagnosis can improve access to treatments and prolong the time people have before dementia becomes severe. Experiencing the grief of losing a loved one can take years off your life. A study published in Frontiers found bereaved people with persistent high levels of grief were more likely to die within 10 years of their loved one's death. Researchers aren't sure why grief may raise mortality rates, but there is a link between high levels of grief and cardiovascular disease and mental health problems. Donating blood saves lives. It's true for humans, and it's also true for cats and dogs. Michael George shows us the need for animal blood donors.
3-year-old Augie may look like any other happy, healthy dog, but Augie is a hero who saved the lives of 12 other dogs. And he's about to save even more.
Sit. Good boy.
Augie is an animal blood donor. Veterinarian Lenore Basic of Blue Pearl Pet Hospital explains our pets need blood donors for the same reasons humans do.
They might have diseases where they need blood. They might have an accident where maybe they get hit by a car. Maybe they have a surgery.
There are weight, age, and health restrictions for cats and dogs to be deemed safe to donate. Augie's owner, Noelle Morrison, was worried at first.
Obviously didn't want him to be distressed. I didn't want him to feel, any pain or anything. But then, once they explained everything to us and they showed us the process, it was really not a big deal.
They try to make the donations as painless as possible. He gets plenty of treats, they make sure he's comfortable, and they sedate him if necessary.
It's not invasive, really. We're just taking a small amount of blood. And again, the whole thing takes about 10 minutes.
You did so good, bud.
It doesn't take long for Augie to be back up and at him.
A little wobbly afterwards, but not long. It maybe lasts an hour or two, and then he's back to his exact normal self, very playful, happy-go-lucky.
Blue Pearl gives donor pets a free health screening and blood work as a bonus for owners. Augie has donated 4 times. On the wall are photos of pets saved by donors like him.
If anything had ever happened to him where he needed to receive blood, I would have wanted someone to do the same thing for us.
Even the smallest members of our family can save a life. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
If you're interested in seeing if your pet can give blood, check with your local veterinarian care office. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why the cost of beef for your backyard cookout is going up.
And it looks like the temperatures continue to go up a little bit more. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, hot, humid once again for us today. All weekend long, we had quite a bit of sunshine. We did dodge a couple random little storms, especially on Saturday, but mainly dry, very hot, very humid, and our temperatures up there again today. A couple little random spotty little guys out across south central Missouri, north central parts of Arkansas. But if you're going to be out this evening, drink plenty of water, but it does look like it's going to be on the dry side. We have some better chances for rain this week compared to what we saw last week. Let's go through time. Here's 6:30 in the morning. Muggy, soupy, kind of nasty start into the mid to upper 70s. Quick warm up. We're going to be into the mid 90s by noon, and we should go into the upper 90s for afternoon highs. Now, there's a very slight chance for 1 or 2 storms to pop up, but a lot of 97s, 8s, even maybe 99 for an actual high, not the heat index, the actual temperature high. As we go through Tuesday evening, we slowly drop back eventually into the upper 70s for overnight lows. So here's Wednesday morning. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, we are going to be tracking thunderstorms along the I-70 corridor, but for us, 1 or 2 random storms right back up into the mid upper 90s for highs. But Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, we start to get some changes in here. Here's midnight. We get a front that slides in, most likely a pretty good complex of showers and thunderstorms, which hopefully will be widespread, but this would be our first chance to get widespread rain in quite some time. So we're going to be watching that. Plus, that's going to usher in some cooler air. Not tomorrow, 94 by noon. We're going to go high temp, 98 degrees, which would be our hottest temperature so far in 2025. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort through the evening hours, 90s into the 80s, eventually into the upper 70s. Of course, the humidity is up there. Dew points at the top of the scale, mainly sitting into the mid 70s, which make it feel soupy across the region. So our heat index right now 100 to about 105, and we'll do that again. As we go into Tuesday, our heat index right around 100 to about 107 across the region. All due to this guy, our big heat dome. We talk about it in the summer months, but watch what happens as we go through the week. So we're going through Tuesday, Wednesday. It starts to push back toward the south and to the west. That allows these waves to drop in, and with those waves, that gives us rain chances, but it also drags in some cooler air with some cold fronts. So let's look at it. Let's go to Thursday. On and off showers and thunderstorms. Highs only into the 80s. Thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday morning. Look at Friday afternoon. We may only have highs 82, 81 by Friday afternoon. And really our temperatures over the weekend pretty good as well into the 80s. And then we'll go back upward as we go into early next week. But we're going to have a 3 or 4 day stretch where it's going to feel pretty good. You can see Sunday here, highs into the upper 80s. All right, so let's go 98 on Tuesday, 98 on Wednesday, 89 on Thursday, 83 on Friday. That's a big switch. 84 Saturday, 86 Sunday. And when we have those days in the 80s, the humidity is going to be low.
Really?
So it's really going to feel fantastic.
Be an opportunity to air out the house, perhaps.
Yeah,
the ceiling fan.
not bad.
The attic fan. Thanks, Doug. Hey, coming up with the record price paid for a WNBA trading card. You're not going to believe this.
Only at Ashley.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, grilling out is a summertime tradition, but cooking up hamburgers and steaks is more expensive than ever. Jared Hill shows us why beef prices are on the rise.
Raising cattle in Mississippi is a family tradition for Bill Howard.
My grandparents moved here in 1901, and there's always been cattle on the farm.
Howard started working the business in high school, and during the past 60 years, he has never seen a market like this one.
Right now, this is the highest prices it's been in history.
The average price for a pound of ground beef is up 10% from a year ago. Steaks are 12% more expensive.
Right now, if you're in the cow-calf business and you're not happy about the cattle market, you need some Jesus in your life, because that's probably the only thing that will make you happy, because it is an outstanding market.
Andy Berry is with the Mississippi Cattlemen's Association and says the problem is nationwide.
It is simply supply and demand. We have historically low cattle numbers in both Mississippi and across the United States.
Years of drought in several parts of the country and higher overhead costs caused many farmers and ranchers to raise smaller herds.
People sold off cattle because they couldn't feed them.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says in January, U.S. farmers had fewer than 87 million cattle and calves, the lowest national herd level since 1951. But higher prices don't seem to be putting off shoppers. The owners of this butcher shop outside of Seattle say business remains steady.
I think everyone's just still buying beef, even though the prices are so high. I think people love beef and there's no choice, and they're willing to pay the extra price.
There are fears prices could go even higher. A parasite sickening cows in Mexico could further impact supply. And economists say while President Trump's tariffs on imported beef from some countries haven't had a major effect on prices yet, that could change. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
A signed 2024 rookie WNBA card of Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has shattered a record, selling for $660,000. That beats the previous high for a women's card. Also Clark's, it sold in March for $366,000. She's been sidelined for several weeks after injuring her groin, and there's no timeline yet for her return. Final check of the forecast is next.
State Hero.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, the new drug that could change the way cognitive decline is diagnosed and treated. Then on KOAM News at 6, the 2 deaths in that Devil's Den attack. We're going to have the latest on the impact, the investigation, and the manhunt for the killer. Plus, the first family of Pittsburgh pickleball gets courts named in their honor. It's the Johnsons. And MIAA Media Days. We'll catch up with coaches and players from Pitt State and Missouri Southern. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. A sweet moment for a good cause. Young Sebastian Green is getting a first taste at giving back. The Granby boy created his own blizzard ahead of Miracle Treat Day at Dairy Queen on 32nd Street in Joplin. Sebastian was diagnosed with autism at age 3, and he received support from Children's Miracle Network. On July 31st, $1 from every blizzard sold will go to Freeman Health System to help kids in the 4 states. Nice idea.
Yeah.
There is some relief inside down the road.
Yeah, we got to get through the next couple days, and they are going to be a scorcher. 98 tomorrow, heat index about 105. 98 on Wednesday, also heat index about 105. There could be 1 or 2 random storms, but much better chances for widespread rain moving in Wednesday night, Thursday night, and also on Friday.
We certainly need some more rain. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.